So I wanted to make this video as kind of an update. Some people know what's going on with my wife's Jeep, but we're going to start from the top and explain everything that's going on. And because I've had a bunch of people ask, what's going on with the Jeep, how are things going with the Jeep. So here's the story. We bought in the end of June, beginning of July in 2016, we bought a 2011 Jeep Patriot. It's four-wheel drive, manual transmission, got a 2.4 liter engine, and had, I want to say, around 86,000 miles on it when we bought it. We bought it from a Dodge, Jeep, Chrysler, Ram dealer in our area, and we've had no problems with it. We drove it to Florida in November, no issues whatsoever. It's been, other than I changed the spark plugs a month after we first bought it because it had a little bit of a hesitation. Other than that, not really any complaints about the Jeep at all. So fast forward to May 27th of this year, 2017. We had just come home from a little vacation, and when I dropped my wife off to pick up her Jeep, I noticed it had a flat tire on the passenger rear. So before we went anywhere, we didn't move the Jeep. I got out her spare tire.
Jim said he needs your hours and load count at the end.
So anyways, we had a flat tire, and so I took the factory size donut out of the back of the Jeep, changed her tire for her, and I got on my Blazer. I headed off to work, and she calls me up and says, I didn't get out of Aunt Jan's driveway yet, and the traction light, stability light, and all the lights on the dash were kind of going nuts. And she said it was like clunking, and it was making a bad sound. It sounded like it was coming from the back end of the Jeep. So I told her to take the tire that was flat up to a tire shop in Tunkhannock and have them patch it and put it back on. They couldn't do it that day, so she drove the Jeep home. So the total distance that the Jeep had the spare tire on was somewhere between 20-25 miles, give or take, something like that. So when I got home that night, I plugged the flat tire, put it back on, so she had all four matching tires again. These are the same tires that were on the Jeep when we bought it from the dealership. So the problem was still there. We never had this issue before, but every now and then she'd be pulling out of the driveway or pulling out onto 29, and like the rear end would bind up or it would lock up and it would clunk, and it would sound very angry. Now I had only driven it once in the month that followed that, and I didn't hear it. She says she drives it every single day, and she says it's happening, which is normal. She says something's wrong with the car, and when I go to take it for a drive, it doesn't make a sound or doesn't do what she said it's doing. And that's normally how it works. My mechanic friends can vouch for that. That's just how stuff works. So I drove it a day, and I heard the noise it was making. So now the salesman that we bought our Jeep from was no longer in the sales department, or he's no longer in that area at this dealer. So all of his clients got kind of dispersed out to others, and the salesman that we got referred to after our original salesman got rid of everybody, or whatever happened, was a guy who I knew I didn't know him like to hang out with him, but I knew who he was. We had a lot of mutual friends. We're Facebook friends from even before she bought the Jeep. You know, I know the guy. You know, I had no issues with him whatsoever. So I call him up and I say, this is what's going on. We're having an issue in the back end of the Jeep. Now I had looked, and the tires that were on the Jeep when we bought it from the dealer are 225 70/16s. So the factory size, if you open up the driver's door of the Jeep, the factory size that is supposed to be on the Jeep is a 205 70/16. So the factory size tire is just a hair narrower and about 1.5 inches shorter from ground to the top of the tire than the tires that were on it when we bought it from the dealer. And the spare tire, it's the original spare tire. It's a 155 90/16, which that tire is 27 inches tall from the ground to the top of the tire. I think the factory size that's supposed to be on there is 27.3 inches tall, and the size that was on it when we bought it from the dealer, they're 28.4 inches tall. So if you do the math, the tires that were on the Jeep when we bought it from the dealer are about 1.5 inches taller than the spare tire on a four-wheel drive vehicle. So if any of you have any mechanical experience, or shit, if you just kind of have an idea of how four-wheel drive systems work, you know that if, especially you Subaru guys, Subaru, on an all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive vehicle, if you have 3 tires that are big and then 1 tire that's small, that's going to cause axle bind-up. And, you know, if you're driving a Dodge Ram or, you know, a big pickup, the axles are, the rear ends on them, they're made to handle a lot of power, a lot of torque, and they're made to be pretty strong. So, you know, if you drive around four-wheel drive on blacktop in a pickup truck, you're going to hear a lot of tires scrubbing, they're going to be hopping, they're not going to be happy, but the tires are going to be the ones that, you know, they're going to slip, they're going to slide, and for the most part, the diffs are going to be fine. Well, on this little Jeep that isn't made to have much power at all, the rear diff isn't as beefy, so it has not been tore apart yet. We'll get to that. It hasn't been tore apart yet, but any mechanically inclined friends will know what's happening. There's something damaged in the rear end, whether it's the splines from the axle shafts going into the rear end or the actual ring gear and the pinion inside the rear differential. Something is damaged inside there. So let's go back. So I called the new salesman and I said, hey man, this is what we have going on. I haven't touched the car, I haven't tore it apart, I didn't look at it myself. If it was my vehicle, you know, I'd have it in the garage tore apart. But it's the wife's, we got it from here. I like to have it looked at and find out what's going on, because I think this is the problem. I think it was sold to us with tires that weren't the correct size. They didn't match the size of the spare, so when we used the spare tire, the drivetrain got damaged. So he said, absolutely man, he had the service department, called my wife, set up an appointment to have her bring it in and have it looked at. So she brings it in, and first of all, I wasn't too happy about the fact that they charged us, I think it was somewhere around $102 after everything for that's, I think they said that's their diagnostic fee. Now when it went in, the mechanic that looked at it sent home a couple papers. I wasn't there when it got looked at, I was working, my wife took it in. It had on there that the both rear struts were leaking, one of the rear axle seals was leaking, a front axle seal was leaking, and there are 3 rubber bushings, like isolator bushings, that where the rear differential mounts to the body of the car, mounts to the subframe, that were bad or worn out. And didn't open the diff, didn't tear into it at all. He just kind of gave it a once over and said, no, you have these bushings are bad, and you know, this is what the problem is. So she paid the $102 or $104, whatever it was. We came home and she showed me the paperwork, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, I've driven it now. I know what's wrong with it. So I was pissed. So I put a post up on Facebook bashing the dealer pretty hard, saying, you know, we bought this car from you. We haven't changed anything on it. I think I put a new stereo in it, and that was it. Everything else is bone stock the way it was when we bought it from the dealer. Same tires, same spare, same everything. And we're having this issue because it was sold to us with tires that were too big to use the spare tire. And the dealer, they're pretty sure that, oh, the tire size has nothing to do with it. So a lot of people shared my post. It was pretty rough. Like, I was bashing them pretty hard, saying, you know, this isn't the way it's supposed to be. I couldn't use a spare tire in my Jeep. You know, this is bullshit. We're having issues. The dealer's pretty much washing their hands of it. That post got shared quite a bit. It got a lot of attention, a lot of people coming out of the woodwork, and I guess it got some people thinking that, wait a minute, is this real? Did this actually happen? Can I not use the spare tire that comes with my Jeep? So the salesman we were referred to started getting phone calls and started getting questions from his customers asking, you know, can I do this? Can I use these tires on my Jeep? And I'm not sure how many people actually called him and asked him, but it must have been enough to he himself made a video at the dealership saying, no, look, this is a brand new 2016 Jeep that comes with this size tire, and this is the size spare that it comes with, and this is the same Jeep with a different size wheel and tire package, but it comes with the same size spare. You will not have any problem using this spare tire with your Jeep. And I watched the video, and there was a little bit of passive aggressiveness that in the post that went back and forth between me and the salesman. And he had sent me a private message on Facebook, and I immediately called him back and I said, listen, I think there's been a misunderstanding, whether it's between me and you or me and your other customers. I'm not saying that you can't, the spare tire that comes with the Jeep is the wrong size. I'm saying we were sold a Jeep with the incorrect size tires, so making the spare tire not usable. So I'll be right back. Alright, so me and the salesman, we had a pretty lengthy conversation. It was kind of rough in the beginning, but I tried to explain to him that I wasn't saying that this is what's happening, or that the Jeep doesn't come with the correct size spare. What I had said was it doesn't, the tires that were sold were not the correct size. So he said that he does not, like, the negativity was hurting him pretty bad. So he said that the problem that he was having was with the negative post, which I can understand that, but I was very, very upset when I posted it, and a lot of people were chiming in. So what we decided to do was he was going to do some research on the tire size, and he was going to get back to me. Now, in the while all this is happening, like I said, this post is getting a lot of attention from a lot of online people. So I got contacted by my another salesman that's open up. There we go. I was contacted by another salesman who said, we want to make things right, you know, what's going on. Now, I had scheduled a second opinion. I knew that they didn't take the differential apart to look at it. I knew that they just brought it in, they saw a couple things that were wrong with it, and whether or not the mechanic knew the entirety of the situation the first time he looked at it or not, I explained to the second salesman that I talked to that, you know, I'm a mechanic. I work out of my own garage. I went to college for this. I've been doing it on the side for about 15 years now, and you know, I'm not just some person that thinks that this is what happened and I don't know what I'm talking about. Like, I know what's happening inside there, but I didn't want to tear anything apart and get accused of tampering with anything before it actually went to the dealer, because I really want them to take care of this. So I explained to him that I want to be there. I have a second opinion scheduled at a different dealer that is not affiliated with the dealer we're at right now, and I want them to look. I want them to tell me that I'm correct in my diagnosis. And he said, well, I can't help you out if you go to a different dealer, so if you could you bring it back, let us look at it again. I want to be out there when the mechanic looks at it. So I ended up canceling my second opinion, and I want to give him a chance to make it right. So tomorrow, what's happening is I'm taking the day off of work. We're taking the Jeep back down to the Jeep dealer to have them actually take the differential apart and inspect it on the inside. And the both salesmen that I talked to, the first one and the second one, they said they both want to be out in the garage when it happens. I'm going to be there. That's why I'm taking the day off, because I'm also going to be out in the garage while the mechanic is tearing it apart to look at it. And I actually just, my only concern now is that it's going to turn out that, yes, the rear differential is damaged, and you know, now we're on the hook for the question to me, who has to pay for a new rear differential or new axle shaft or whatever it is that's damaged. I'm pretty sure it's going to be one of the two, the splines on the axle shaft or the gears inside the differential, or some combination of both. So that's where we're at right now. We are tomorrow taking the Jeep down and having them inspect it. Like I said, we don't know who's going to pay for it if it is broken yet. I'm assuming it's going to be them, but hold on. So tomorrow I forgot where I was at. So tomorrow we are taking the Jeep. Well, I'm taking the Jeep back to the Jeep dealer to have them actually inspect the differential. From what I've heard, now, one of my college roommates used to be a mechanic at this dealership. He was explaining some stuff to me on the side. It's like how the four-wheel drive system works on there. Now, the first salesman that I had talked to, that our business was referred to after our original salesman left that position, I stopped in the day I was supposed to take it down for the second opinion. I took the Jeep down to the dealer, to the original dealer, and because I wanted to talk to the second salesman that I had scheduled the appointment with. And the original salesman that we had some words on Facebook, and which, by the way, we came to the terms on that, and I deleted my original post. He deleted the video that he had put up, and that's that. But anyways, I stopped there and I was talking to him and I said, "Hey man, do you have 5 minutes? I have the Jeep here. Do you want to go for a ride? That way you can actually feel what it's doing." He says, "Absolutely." So he came out, we hopped in the Jeep, and just backing out of the parking space, rear end bound up. And I was like, "See, that's it right there. That's what it's doing." That way, and it's not that I was trying to say like, "See, I told you." It had nothing to do with that at all. I find it's easier for other people to understand what's happening if they actually get to feel it, rather than me just saying, "Hey, this is a problem." So I thought it was really good that the salesman actually got to feel the problem we were having. So as of right now, that's how everything stands. We're going to have the car looked at tomorrow, and I would say wait for an update video sometime in the very near future to find out, what the dealer found, and we'll decide what we're going to do about it. I kind of have a backup plan. It's not going to be very PC, but I'm really hoping that the dealership, makes it right and takes care of us. And if that happens, I will definitely, say I will publicly thank them. I will make sure that they get the credit they deserve, because all this could be just down to a simple misunderstanding about the tire sizes. And the first time we took it in to have the mechanic look at it, and it wasn't, maybe the mechanic, when he looked at it, didn't know exactly what he was looking for. Maybe he thought that, customer is complaining of a noise coming from the rear end, and he was just like, "Oh, well, it looks like your struts are leaking, and these rubber bushings around your differential, they look like they're worn out." If that was the case, then that's also a miscommunication between the service department and the service manager. So let's talk about the service manager. I don't think I'm going to change my opinion of that tool bag. Not only because I talked to him on the phone the first time that the Jeep was having these issues. My wife went to take the Jeep over the first day, and whoever she had talked to said that no, there won't be a charge. We'll just inspect it to make sure that it's safe and that there's not going to be any issues. And when she got over there, they told her that it was going to be $100 and some. So the first time she went to take it over there, she said, "No, I was told it wouldn't cost us anything." So she didn't leave it there. She didn't have it looked at that day. She got a hold of me, let me know what was going on. So I called the dealership back up, and I talked to the service manager, and I explained to him that this isn't something that we did. It's not like, we beat the shit out of the car and we damaged this and we think this is what's going on, and that wasn't it at all. This is something that should have been prevented when the car was traded in, or however they acquired the car. It should have been gone over, and their mechanics should have seen that, hey, this is not the correct tire size. It's not like we took it to a mom and pop shop or some used car dealer that sees different cars every day. This was a Jeep dealer that acquired this Jeep. This, I don't know if you want to call it late model Jeep. It's 2011, we bought it in 2016, so it's 5 years old. But they see these every day. That's something that I would think a Jeep mechanic should have picked up on pretty quick, that, hey, these aren't the stock size tires that's on here. This could cause an issue. So it was sold to us with the wrong size tire on there. So essentially making it so that we can't use the spare tire, the original spare tire that came with the Jeep. We could not use it because it would cause drivetrain damage. Now, we weren't told that. It wasn't specified that, hey, you have oversized tires on your Jeep Patriot. And the salesman or the service manager told me that, you know, we sell vehicles with oversized wheels and tires on them all the time. And we've never had a complaint like this before. And my response to that is, if I'm going there to buy a Wrangler or a big Dodge pickup with, you know, big off-road tires on it, first of all, I want to see a Wrangler that you have on the lot that has oversized tires and doesn't have the exact same wheel and tire on the cargo carrier or on the spare tire rack on the back, because you're not going to find that. As for your Ram pickups, you can leave those in just two-wheel drive. Yeah, they might come with oversized tires. I mean, they come with a full-size spare, but if you put oversized tires on it after you buy it, then if you get a flat, you know, you can drive that in two-wheel drive until you get it fixed. You can't do that with the Patriot. The Patriot, this is coming from the salesman that I talked to. The Patriot is four-wheel drive up to a certain speed. I think what he said was it was four-wheel drive up to about 25 miles an hour. And once you hit a certain speed, around 25, it will disengage the rear differential. And then your front-wheel drive, it'll disengage the rear drive shaft. I mean, it's along those lines. It's four-wheel drive when you start out, and then it is front-wheel drive once you get above a certain speed. And unless there's a little handle underneath the armrest that you can click to lock it to four-wheel drive, and then you're in four-wheel drive all the time, no matter what speed. So it's not like you can disengage the four-wheel drive. So that's something that I think the mechanics should have caught before they even put the car on the lot to be sold. And ultimately, I'm holding them responsible for the damage that's been done to the rear of the car. So we'll see where it goes from here. My fingers are crossed that that dealership is going to come through and they're gonna, you know, make it right. And if they do, you know, I'm gonna make sure that everybody knows that yes, we had this problem. We had a little miscommunications in the beginning, and ultimately the dealer fixed the problem for us. And you know, I'm happy with that. And that's where I really, really hope this is gonna go. And I guess only time will tell. So stay tuned for some updates. And sorry it's such a long video, but there's a lot to cover, and I hope I got it all.